This is Brad.
This is Paul.
And this is Josh.
From Voraath. And you're listening to The Dan Chan Show.
I've got Joshua, Brad, and Paul from Voraath with me. Guys, how's things in South Carolina?
It's windy, and it looks like it's going to rain. So
there's some tornadoes like yesterday.
I thought you'd have good weather all the time.
It's confused.
Yeah.
We'll get a tornado.
I think you get a lot of wind.
Yeah, we get a lot of wind, yeah.
But hot summers, right?
Very hot.
Yeah,
oh, yeah. Hot winters, too. Yeah.
I love it. Right, let's get down to the music. Now, Voraath is a new band with experienced members like yourselves. You know, you've fed us 2 singles since January, The Barons and Siren Head. The thing that caught my attention with this concept is this sci-fi death metal. I even read that it's for fans of death metal, black metal, and 80s soundtracks. How can anyone not stop and think about that? How did it all come about?
Right. Well, we pretty much, so it's a little bit complicated, but me and Brad already played together in another project. And then me and Paul actually played in a little kind of side project. Right. And things just went everywhere. So we're like, hey, let's just get together and start a new project aimed at really touring. And at the same time, we love sci-fi. We're very nerdy. So we like creating multiverses and stuff. We're like, how do we put all that with music, videography, the stage show into one project? Yeah. Metal sometimes gets very, it's like same thing up there. Rrr.
Yeah. So you had this vision in mind. It wasn't a case you just get in a room, jamming, and all of a sudden just coming out. You got together with that in mind.
Right. Yeah. It was an idea of like, we're a metal band, but also like, if you go to a show, like we want to like present a show, not just, and not to take away from any of the bands that do this, but, just a bunch of dudes in some cargo shorts and their local bands on their shirts. But, like, you come to our show, we're, like, dressed in, like, our costumes. And eventually down the road, we want to do, like, an actual, like, theatrical performance. So, yeah, I think that's the difference.
We'll get into that because, I mean, obviously, with the theatrical performance, do you think this is what people are expecting more of with these ticket prices these days? They want to go to a show and see something like Ghost would perform or Rammstein before, even Slipknot. Do you think that's what they expect?
I mean, that's what I expect.
I mean, me too. Maybe it's because we play extreme metal. Like we're always playing extreme stuff. But it's like sometimes, and I hate to say it, it gets a little bit boring live when you just see guys just doing this the whole show.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also think about the most memorable concerts you can think of. It's the bands that actually like put a lot of time and effort and, a lot of creativity into their shows. Yeah. That's most memorable bands. And those are the ones that stick around for the longest.
Yeah. Of course.
Definitely immersive, getting your money's worth kind of thing.
Absolutely. We'll come back to this in a bit, but you say that you're an auditory odyssey. What do you mean by that?
Well, our lore, the music, the lore that makes the music, there's a lot of details to it. Yeah. So when we create a song, it ain't just, hey, today I want to write about, throwing a pretzel at a monkey and kicking somebody in the mouth. It's like, I want to, we actually sat down, we crafted this complex multiverse. And then we have these beings called the Atai, and these are these ancient architects which propagate life throughout the cosmos. It's a very biocentristic universe. And then in that, we try to take our personal, maybe we all go through death. We all go through, some people have PTSD. Some people you go through a lot of different things. How can we bring these experiences and put them in this odd multiverse, And so different songs with each thing leads, I guess, is another chapter in the album. So for this story, and the most shortest way, it's a dystopian planet, but it ain't just that it's another Armageddon or dystopian Earth. We have these beings that have snuck onto our planet pretty much. Yeah. And meanwhile, we're in this village and we're all going through the mental issues that from a planet that's been ravaged, because all of a sudden, like in a story, like 80% of the population just disappears. And we're trying to figure it out. And so we're fast forward 100 years later. There's weird things. There's these weird cosmic beings that people are praising like gods on the planet. But even that has lore. Them beings have beings.
Yeah.
I'm hungry. I was looking at beings. But these entities have lore that go back really extensive. And so there's a lot of different pieces of this lore that add up. And even our music is just one little piece of this much bigger story.
Yeah, I was going to say, so these first singles, tell me the story behind them and what made you write about such themes, these two specifically.
So like the Barons, the whole point of the Barons was to portray a little bit of the atmosphere that's happening. So we're on a rescue mission. The story starts in the middle of the story that we're trying to write. Right. So we're on this rescue mission to get his character, whose name is Amon in the story. And we're trying to find this, it's called a nexus key. It's this thing that allows for interdimensional travel. And we're trying to get it because we're employed by this corporation. And I know it's a lot of details just to get that. So that's the back lore that's behind it. But it's being guarded by this weird cult, this kind of very religious zealot cult. And so he decides to go ahead of us and gets captured. So the song is us having a rescue mission to go find him. And we find him. We have to, in the video, we have this little firefight. We have this armor. We're moving in. And then at the end of it, we find him, but we find the nexus key as well. So when we touch it, it ends with the video of this big explosion, but weirdly we're unscathed by it, and we just end up continuing the story. So it's the whole point of the Barons is to portray the atmosphere in which the rest of the album is going to kind of be in. Right. And then Siren Head is pretty much, it's a kind of a cameo. To be honest, some of us have kids, and it's like, our kids really love this being called Siren Head. And I remember watching it going, what the hell is a siren head? And when I watched it was pretty cool. Yeah. So my son really liked it. Our other guitar player, his daughter really liked it. We're like, let's write a song about Siren Head. And it's funny because it's more of like a cameo in this universe that there are these interdimensional creatures, weird creatures that exist. And so it's pretty much just a nod at Trevor Henderson for creating it and for our kids.
So with that all in mind, those two tracks, you know exactly what route you're going down. I feel a concept album brewing. Am I right?
Oh yeah.
So I know a lot of bands that have done this. A lot of bands that I spoke to last year specifically, they've done the concept album and also brought out a comic or maybe a book alongside to go with it, or big, thick, inside album lines to read. What are you planning?
Well, we definitely want to try to. So we have this video series. That's what we really want to focus on. It's kind of like Netflix, or like we was talking about with Obi-Wan. So I'm a big Star Wars fan. I think you Star Wars fan. Yeah, I know.
Who isn't? Yeah.
So I love going like Netflix or Disney Plus. You get there and you're watching this show, and then next week you expect a new show. Why don't we do that in metal? Like take our music and you expect so every one of our songs is going to be a video. And then we're even going to do videos between the songs, which kind of go deeper into the lore, kind of show what's happening. And then the songs are pretty much an outline of each chapter that's happening in the story. So we're really wanting to bring this video series. And the one thing about is that this expansive universe, I know a lot of bands that they'll talk about, say the fall of the Roman Empire, and it's a whole concept thing. For us, it is a complex multiverse that we're going to keep adding. And, eventually we'll probably end up off-world or something, and we have this other planet. And on top of that, we have these cosmic beings that are – I keep thinking of beings that are happening. So, yeah, there's a lot of depth to it.
Mm. So with that in mind, when are we expecting either, an LP, EP, what are we expecting?
Ooh, it's hard to say right now. Like we're looking into and got offers from a couple of management groups. So like the idea of when everything's going to come out is like kind of up in the air. We have an idea of what we want to do, but it might not be what happens, So actually starting today, we're filming a new music video for, like you said, my character's called Amon, and the song's called Amon the Judge. But we're going to film a video for it today. And like you said, so even if like the song's not released for people to listen to on like Spotify or whatever, you can still watch the video. Yeah. So most likely the videos for the songs will come out before the actual songs do.
Kind of backwards. We're in that waiting process because it's like we're ready to release. We have an EP right now. Technically, we have a full album worth of material.
Yeah.
We're just waiting now to get the right representation. So it's, it's hard in the industry nowadays,
Yeah, of course. Now, Joshua, you're almost like a one-man army with this, aren't you? You co-write with Brad, you play drums, ferocious drums, by the way, man. I've seen your calves in those videos, fucking hell. Now, you play keys, do vocals, you produce, mix, and master the tracks, and you even did the artwork. Do you not like sharing with these guys, or what?
Hey, whatever anybody can do, they can do. So it's free reign. I'm just so used to.
But no one's going to argue with you. Look at the size of you. I mean, come on.
With this project, it's really nice because everybody does work together more than any other project. Like somebody will call and be like, hey, I got this idea about this, or somebody's like, hey, I got this riff. And to be honest, I'm not used to that because usually in other projects, it's been like, yeah, we'll show up.
Yeah. Now, do you feel you got a better grip on things when you do everything yourself rather than having outside sources? Or do you think one day you'll like to bring a team in to lighten the load? Maybe not these guys, but, outside sources.
Whenever financially, it's a finance. To be honest, I mix and master or mix and record and all that because I don't have to pay for it. Yeah, so it's really expensive. And to be honest, I'm not in that financial bracket. But eventually, especially with the music videos, oh my goodness, I would love to have a team to work with the actual production.
So much you could do with what you're thinking about put on screen, isn't there? So much.
Right.
Now the band name Voraath, where does it come from? What's the meaning and origin? That must be you'd have decided that, Josh, surely.
No, we can't. We came to, I guess, but pretty much it's a reference to this entity that's in our story, and it's a dual. I guess it has two meanings. One is it refers to the entity himself, but the entity for us represents our vengeance or a vengeful act. So he's pretty much our deity of vengeance.
Right, I see.
We're mad in the story, so we're going to do some stupid stuff.
I got you. Now, you guys are experienced players coming from established bands. Could we call this a super group or not? I mean, can you tell me individually what's happening with the other outfits at the moment?
I guess technically it's a super group because we all came from other bands.
Yeah,
we don't think like that.
Yeah,
we're just like, this is our main focus, So, super groups, that's usually like everybody's side project. They'll put it all,
of course,
and then just come back wherever. Whereas this is our focus. With Nile in 2 weeks, I think we're playing Sweden Rock.
Right. Yeah. Nice.
We'll fly to Sweden, do Sweden Rock, and then I'm not really sure what about after that. What you guys got going on? Nothing.
Oh, I just do this. I'm very, to be honest, I've been very blessed. I've had a lot of good. Actually, this year alone, I've had some really big offers come around with some really big names. I can't even say, I guess, because they asked me. But I've been very blessed to have some big names reach out. Like, hey, we.
So what? Drumming, vocals, doing what?
Drumming. Yeah. But to be honest, I really want to focus on this because I don't want to be just known as the fill-in drummer.
Yeah. Your drums are insane, man.
Yeah, he's all right.
How did you get to that level? Just daily practice or what? I mean, insane.
Yeah, I've been playing in a metal band since I was 13.
Right. Okay.
It's one of those cheesy. I ran away from home. Literally, I ran away from my home when I was 12ish, 13, and joined a metal band with guys who were like 28 to 30 years old. I've been playing ever since. So it's just part of my life.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah.
So Voraath, right, is going to be your forefront and your main focus for all of you now, would you say?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
So with that in mind, it's no project. You're planning to tour this. What's the grand plan?
Wow, what a question. Hopefully, at some point in the future, like I was saying earlier, the idea is to be able to bring like a theatrical show on the road. So hopefully in the future, we have the finances to actually pull that off to where whenever you come see us play live, you're not seeing the band, you're seeing some actors on stage portraying what we're playing in the songs.
Yes, so we want to make almost like a extreme metal Broadway play.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's the idea. Maybe have a show on
really hot
Netflix or something. No.
So live wise, what's the set list like? You played, how many gigs have you played so far? You played some, haven't you?
Yeah, we just played. We played our first show together as this project. Actually, just really last
weekend.
But we were supposed to go on tour. Technically, we were supposed to go on tour Bloodbath,
right?
Which was going to be awesome. But they couldn't get our visas. Something happened to visas. They couldn't get over here. So now we are working with ATI booking. So we're waiting on them to announce, but I think we have a tour in the works for August.
Cool.
So we have a whole US tour.
So will you be playing tracks that are already in the in the album?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, cool. And what can we expect from a Voraath gig? I mean, I can picture it now. And what would you like to aspire to? I mean, are you talking like Rammstein heights? What do you want to do?
I mean, that would be nice. That would definitely be nice.
I mean, we want to go. That's the thing. We want to go as big as possible. I mean, I don't want to just play, Jim's dive bar and burgers next door. Plus, to be honest, we have too much stuff to do that. Like, we have his armor, all of our equipment.
Insane.
It's,
looks great, man. Looks great.
It sounded kind of funny earlier, but like what Josh said, the idea is actually like, if you're going to see a Broadway play, but instead it's an extreme metal band. Yeah. Like that's kind of the idea.
What's it like, Josh, playing with that gear on?
Ooh, it's heavy. It actually is not bad at all. Our guitar player, his wife helped tailor this stuff. And then what we did, we took these helmets, these like tactical helmets, and we like cut and put our lit up eyes in them. So we have smoke controls that turn those on. Because, we thought, wouldn't it be cool to be on stage and you look and like all the eyes turn red and just some mean music comes out. People are like, whoa, what is this? Yeah.
So show-wise, how was it, obviously during the pandemic? Did you ever think you'd ever get back to playing a live show again? And what was it like playing your first show? You played the first show for Voraath last week, but when was your first shows after the pandemic, and did it feel good? Or were you nervous, anxious?
Yeah. So my first show after the pandemic was with Nile, and it was we did a tour in March. Oh yeah, March and April with Incantation. So that was the first return to stage for us in 2 years. The first show was Nashville, and it was real strange. We obviously rehearsed a lot before the tour had started, but still being up on stage, it's like, I kind of forgot how to do this. Like, wait, I'm supposed to move around? No, this is strange. My back hurts now. It was real strange, but then you just get back into the hang of it again, back into the groove of it. But I get nervous before every single show, so that didn't change at all.
What about you two, Josh, Paul? When was your first show after the pandemic?
My first show back was, I think, it was like a local show where I live in Asheville. Yeah. Like December of last year, I think. Last December. It was. I mean, just like Brad was saying, you almost think that you've forgotten how to do it, but it comes back, I say, pretty quick. It's more of the hype before the show that you forget what that feels like. Having it been so long. It's like, oh yeah, hey, old friend, almost. Nervous or something like that. But it was cool. I mean, should have happened sooner. Thank God.
What about you, Josh?
Oh man, I think I went on, because technically I went with him on the Nile tour. So I was George, the drummer Nile, George's drum tech. Yeah. And so I had to watch shows for 6 weeks. That was hard. I love taking for Georgia, but I'm ready to be on stage. Yeah. So the first main show back was this recent show. Wow. But to be honest, I'm so busy back there because I'm setting up, I'm putting on my backing tracks. On top of it, I'm setting my vocal stuff. And so I've got so many little tasks behind the drums that by the time I'm playing, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm playing. So I don't have enough time to be nervous until it's too late.
Yeah, exactly. Have fun on the last track. Now, with everything in mind, guys, with your themes and everything, what's your favorite dystopian films or series? And now we're thinking about what's your favorite 80s film soundtrack? Give me some ideas from your past.
Man, that's a great one. So like the first thing that comes to mind, I was not 80s whatsoever, very recent, but I was a gigantic fan of the Mandalorian series.
Oh yeah.
I thought they did a really, really good job of that.
Better than Boba Fett.
Yeah, right.
It's like the same show. Boba Fett was only in like 2 episodes.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it was.
It's Mandalorian 1.5.
It's me again.
Yeah. Man, 80s is funny because I think about 80s soundtracks when you listen like Running Man. And you had all them really cool scenes, like boom, 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 boom. Arnold Schwarzenegger movies. And then you have like The Predator, and you hear them sounds like, I'm just making noises.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, good.
But like, yeah. And then like, but like the sounds made you feel eerie and a little bit off, but you could tell there was that bit of uncertainty. It was mystical or mysterious. Yeah. And like, I love that feel back then. It felt more, and plus we weren't redoing every movie back then, so things felt new. Like when you seen what is the Wayland Corp, not Aliens, but the
corporation.
The corporation. Yeah, but what was the movie that they were in? They did a remake with it has the guy who plays Hawk. Why can't I think of nobody's name?
Oh yeah, I know which one you mean. It's gonna
yeah. But like the soundtracks was just so immersive and new, and now like modern day, we're just remaking every movie.
Yeah.
With kind of more bland soundtracks to me. But.
Okay, so one 80s film each, so it's got to be the 80s film. One each.
Oh, 80s film. The sci-fi film?
Oh, well, yeah, anything. Well, yeah. Well, I don't think you're going to say, for like Ferris Bueller's or anything. We're in the dystopian world here.
I love Rocky.
That's sci-fi.
Yeah. Come on. You can say Back to the Future. That's sci-fi.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I guess.
Oh,
yeah. You guys.
I'll kick off. I'll say Terminator. I think Terminator's mine.
No, that's fantastic.
I mean,
God, that's so good.
I like Terminator 2.
Amazing. T2's incredible. So
yeah. Okay. Yeah, that would be my answer for sure. Terminator 2. Yeah.
I'll let you have that. 91.
Are you going?
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot to choose from. I mean, as far as movies that I loved in that era, maybe it's not super sci-fi, but I always love that movie Maximum Overdrive, where the cars come to life.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously the old Blade Runner, the new Blade Runner.
Blade Runner, that's what I was even thinking of.
Yeah,
I think the composer just recently passed away too. So
Rutger Hauer. Yeah.
That was, I mean, obviously anything David Cronenberg always got my attention. He's one of my favorites, like Videodrome.
The droning sounds are just
it's real cool.
Incredible.
All that stuff. So.
I like that movie, Legend. It ain't science. Well, it's fantasy, but Legend with Tim Curry. It's a big devil guy. With the soundtrack, with what was the people that did their sound? Tangerine Dream.
Yeah. Right.
I love that soundtrack.
Even though Tom Cruise is in it, so
wow.
Yeah.
So, sticking with the music theme that you like, what music do you like away from metal? Is there anything you like? Obviously, you're not listening to metal 24/7. Obviously, soundtracks are in there, but anything else that you listen to that like you chill out to? Glass of wine.
What's funny is I do listen to metal, obviously, but it's not really what I listen to all the time. Like, I'll put on my favorite band ever is Rush, so I'll listen to them all the time. But like 70s classic rock and funk, like that's my shit. That's what I love.
Yeah.
Duran. We like Duran.
God,
Tears.
Yeah.
I'm a huge vaporwave fan, like weird electronic, like brain melting acid trip kind of stuff. Sometimes after like practice or listening to metal all day, just like totally reboot with something the opposite. Some jazz here and there, pretty much anything.
Same. It's a funny one. I'll edit this out. I'm going to say it now. You know how at the end of the year you get your Spotify top 5 things?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, last year it was like death metal, black metal came about 3-4 down the list. The top was reggaeton, Latin jazz, because I've got a swimming pool here, right? So my missus hates metal. So I'm sat by the pool and she's got my Spotify and she's playing all this Latin jazz, which I don't mind listening to. And I'm sat in the sun with a beer in my hand, right? But at the end of the year, when everyone's posting their top 10, I can't do it. Everyone expects it. Everyone expects more from me. I'm definitely editing that out. Right, guys, I'm going to... Fuck it, I'll keep it in. Don't tell anyone. Now, I'm going to be a bit serious now. So if you don't mind me asking, guys, terrible news that came out of Texas this week with another school shooting. Now, you're the first Americans I've spoken to since this tragedy. What's your take on the gun laws in your country? Obviously, you got kids and that in your lives. What's your take on everything?
Man, I take, one of my other jobs for a while was I taught a tactical class, and I taught weapons and I taught hand-to-hand combat, which I still teach martial arts and hand-to-hand combat. And so I'm always looking at stuff from how to protect my son, how to protect people, and I teach people. Yeah. And it's such a complicated thing. People, it's so volatile here. Even mention it, people get in fights about it. But a very subjective take is that there's so many weapons here. There's so many weapons a lot. And the thing is, most people, me, I do carry my weapon, but it's because there's so many guns here. Ain't nothing you can do about it now. That's the problem. It's like, I can't, people's like, give up your guns, turn into, something. But the problem is the moment you do it, this dude over here is going to come in and boop, 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 get you. So it's this unfortunate cycle that's occurred. And to a point where when my son came in, so when I teach people tactical stuff, I make them wear plate carriers, which has your bulletproof, your 10 by 11 plate. I'm actually buying my son. It's an 8-inch plate that goes in the back of his book bag that will stop. It's a level 3 plate, so it'll stop up to a 308. But it's weird. I have to think about that now.
Yeah.
And the thing is, most people, like in the Carolinas, they're pretty strict about, like, you can't just walk in and get a gun. But it's not like that, like Texas.
No, Texas, yeah.
You can just walk right in there and be like, all right, give me a gun. But here, if you have anything mental health, they'll tell you, like, nope, can't get a gun.
Yeah.
I've watched people get mad about it. So some places in the U.S. are way better, but unfortunately, mental health, no one's addressing that. And then now there's been so many killings that people are just, it's like, oh, that's sad. And then they move on. It's unfortunate that that's daily life.
Yeah, I mean, Europe and the rest of the world, I mean, especially Europe as well, which is very liberal, as you know, and it's like everyone sits there and goes, another one? It's just like, when's it going to change?
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, back to the music. And I've randomly asked this question in interviews to those who I think can answer this question, but what do you guys think is the heaviest riff of all time? The whole stink face thing, the whole give me one each.
I still think the song Black Sabbath by Black Sabbath is the greatest riff ever. Like, nobody will ever write a riff heavier than that, ever.
Yeah, I've had that many times. Anyone else?
Oh, you have to go before me. I'm still trying to think.
Anything.
It's such a subjective question.
Oh, of course. Sorry, mate.
No, I mean, no need to apologize. It's fine.
No, because I said the right answer. So there's no other answer.
Everybody else is just copying Black Sabbath anyway.
Yeah.
I'm wearing the shirt, but this Crowbar song, Conquering, that the bridge is just 3 notes. They harmonize it. It's just like the fattest, heaviest, sludgiest. Just makes your teeth loose. It's so heavy. At least in my opinion. But,
so true.
Now, this is going to be very different, but I did it's a song called Persepolis by Septic Flesh. Yeah. And it's the very beginning of it. It's got this low drone brass. It's just the way it happens makes you feel like a planet that's got destroyed. So,
I like it. I like it. I'll take that. So, this is the chance to speak directly to the people, send them a message about Voraath and you guys.
Oh, no, that's totally you, Brad. This is what you've been living for right here.
So we're working on the record, like we said earlier. We have 6 songs completely finished and about 8. So 6 songs completely finished and 2 more that are being worked on at the moment. Except today we're starting the next music video, so you're going to see another video really soon, probably within the next month or 2.
Cool.
We're going to do our tour in August, which is still not 100%. We haven't seen anything yet. It's just talks. But in August, for sure, we're going to be on the road, and then after that, hopefully, the album will be out, and we'll be playing everywhere.
I tell people definitely this is going to be a little bit different. Because we have very extreme music, but some of the newer music we are writing has a lot more experiment. We're trying to experiment with emotions more where, of course, we have anger, it's metal, but, we have very sad parts. We have very, grief and things. So we're trying to figure out how to encapsulate that with the music. So I try to encourage people, definitely give it a fair shot. There's a lot of mindfulness in how we're writing it.
It's a grower, not a shower.
Yeah.
Well, Josh, Paul, Brad, thanks for joining me on the show, guys. Good luck with Voraath. I look forward to seeing you on the road in the not too distant future, and of course, the album to follow.
All right, thank you.
Thanks for having us.